Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and welcome to today's message. Today's message is the evil among us from 2 Thessalonians 3:3. But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. We have a good and faithful God who promises to protect us from evil. But do you really understand what that means? I mean, where does the evil come from anyway? Is it from Satan? We live in a world of uncertainty. It's full of fear, moral challenges, ethical dilemmas, instability, social injustice, and honestly, just some straight up evil doing. And as the world advances, it seems that our moral framework just seems to decline. We're increasingly exposed and challenged every day to prioritize our personal lives in a place where everyone is pursuing success at all cost. It seems that most people have no feeling of responsibility, and our future generations are at risk. I'm scared to death to think of what the world will be like when my 2-year-old granddaughter is my age. And I'm wondering if we seriously need to rethink morality altogether, because it's some kind of flawed conception, I think, in the way that we think, but we seem to get stuck in the objective fact of it. And if I'm honest, well, I would say humans are responsible for the bad things that happen in the world. But let me explain. The Bible doesn't answer all the questions about evil. In fact, it calls evil a mystery. It says someday we'll understand where evil came from and why it exists. But it also says evil comes from Satan, and it comes from within our own hearts and minds. And that is a clear indication to me that we are responsible because we allow Satan into our heart. Mark 7:21 and 22 says, "For from within, out of men's hearts, come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, lewdness, envy, slander, arrogance, and folly." Now, if you really don't understand how powerful Satan is, well, I suggest you spend some time finding that out. He is far stronger than you realize. He's totally evil and continually works against God. And he tricks us into believing by being all that we ever wanted. And then he uses our hearts and our love that God gave us against us. He leads us into temptation and sin. And I have personally been spiritually attacked more than once in my life. And I have had someone use my own love against me. So I know he's real. And I have personally experienced Satan in working. But no matter how evil Satan might be, we're promised that we'll be protected from him by God. And that comes as a great comfort to me. Now, I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were discussing the 10 Commandments. And my friend said that they believe that all evil comes from Satan. I, on the other hand, said it's an excuse for bad human behavior and lack of faith when we allow Satan into our heart. And the conversation ended with us agreeing to disagree. But I want to share with you the subject of the conversation, specifically the 6th commandment, thou shalt not kill. It seems obvious that killing someone is wrong. Murder is unlawful. And that it's not just a subject of personal preference, but it's a fact. And it's simply true for anyone. And if anyone says that murder is okay, well, they're wrong. At least that's how I think. But what if I were to tell you that some people justify murder? They believe there are exceptions to the 10 Commandments because sometimes killing someone is legal and moral, like in the case of self-defense. But does that change the moral responsibility of committing murder? The devil is seen as responsible for murder in the Bible and is a deliberate source of all evil. When someone commits murder, it's often seen as coming from a force of evil, and God would never condone it. It's unlawful and unjustifiable. So is the person who acted in self-defense and killed someone to save themselves evil? Or were they defending themselves against Satan, who is in the heart of the person who they perhaps killed. Now, I'm not convinced that there's subjective morality, and I choose to believe that there's a divine God that gives us the rules to define absolute right from wrong. And he'll judge us all in the end, and it's not up to me to determine the outcome of that debate. But it is up to me to determine whether I want to live a Christ-like life, and if I want to trust in the absolute reliability and faithfulness of God. But I am honest. If I was being attacked, I would defend my life. And I also know that I am not evil. I believe it is truly what's in your heart and what and who you allow into your heart that determines your outcome. And I also know this. Someday Satan is going to be defeated. Read Revelations if you want to know more. And God will reign supreme forever, and that is a true fact. But I'll ask you today, what can you do today to protect your own heart and mind and be saved from Satan's work in your everyday life? I just have one sentence for you. Choose God's unconditional love, and he will strengthen you and protect you from all evil. That's it. It's simple. Choose God. If this resonated with you, please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to my divine mission and for helping me to keep my message alive. I'll see you next time.